Ugh. Knife over here. Just the little most irritating things. All right. Will that shark bites with its teeth? Yes. And that shark's bite is pearly white. I said that shark's bite with his teeth, yes. And his teeth, yes, are pearly white. Here we go. Blue Argonite. Oh, switched hands pretty quick there. May the power of Blue Argonite guide you. And the Virgin energy. I got the Virgin energy that's going to come in the Virgin frequency. Sending in the frequency of the Thunderbolt. Yeah, that was incredibly strange. That was just incredibly strange because nothing on my table should be able to move. But yet something on my table moved. I heard it move, and I'm like, oh well. Well, if those never watched me before, I go by the name of Big Pontiac, and this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am also the holder of the sacred infinite ball game created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to my galactic patio, from Minnesota to the universe. So welcome everybody. I'm drinking water, so pop them if you got them. Drinking water and doing edibles, so smoke them if you got them for sure. So I will drink to everyone. That Super Sly is a tough act to follow. He is a real tough act to follow. Was very entertained with his information for sure. Like mesmerized. Like I never heard of some of these people. You know, what is his name? Infinite Consciousness. Brother's first name is Jonathan. He be with Zach. You know, Zach's show. Zach be having him. And that brother showed in 2020 or 2021. He highlighted every murder. He highlighted all these murders of all these different people. And it was pretty much, what was it, every 50 seconds, something like that. Like it was either 1919 or 1920. It was almost like every 40, 50, 60 seconds, somebody that was in the rap business, specifically rappers, was getting killed. And I mean, he's writing a book about this, and it's almost the most deadly. Rap for young men is the most deadly form of employment. It is the most deadly form of employment at this time for young men. And it almost, and again, rap is not hip hop. And we have all these other conditions that people ain't getting taken down, but I think that's his name, Infinite Consciousness. If y'all can think of his name, but Jonathan is his first name, but B was Zach. His book is eye-opening. How often it happens to young brothers. And that's to go to say the price of fame could be hell. It's hell. You know, you see all the people's. It's all right. Saw PJ Allen, my man, in a million gram. OTF, what's happening? Necessary Evil. Thank you for joining me. Oh, they wasn't going to let Curry lose today. Oh, we can get into that too. And they are fighting to get to the front of the line. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Jonathan be going in. I mean, he put them names of them dates. Well, it's like this sister said in the little video I did. You know, you got people out here still asking for more genocide. Thank you, Divine Networking. That is so kind for you. But yeah, I've been watching since A1 Eagle. Thanks, Big Potty, for your wisdom. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the kindness. That is too kind. D-Land, hey, what's happening? And that's the same thing. It's like, and it is almost, if you look at the even if you could really relate to the Charlie Parker movie, if you remember how the Charlie Parker movie opens up, and when it opens up, it's showing all these dudes in line to play sax, you know, to try out for this position. You know, all these people, you know, trained to play sax. Only one or two was going to get the job, whatever it was. Well, we have the same thing in rap. We got all these people that, as the equipment, and that's a big thing you have to understand too. The equipment is a lot cheaper to make out a decent product, to learn how to really, like when you listen to Jimi Hendrix and you listen to his first album, you can tell the growth between the first and second album. And the same thing when you listen to it, because he only made 3, but the growth between the first album and the third album, you couldn't even compare the two, other than knowing it's him. Now, I mentioned that because now it's not hard for someone to learn how to make a musical product very successful. It's not hard for that. Well, thank you, Barbara. That is so kind of you. It is not hard for that kind of thing. And so the equipment, as the equipment is cheaper, you have more and more people being able to put their efforts out. Unnecessary evil. I miss Ginobili. Oh, you see what they said? Hey, Shirilita. Uh, yes, greeting to you, Barbara. How you doing? I guess I'll switch up. The energy's coming a little different. But yeah, the sports thing. Hit my parlay. I told y'all 7. It's gonna go 7. I'm still even thinking of less, but I got 3.5. So won some money. Twins beat the Rays. Trying to think of the third team. Was it the Nationals? Can't think of the third team, but the money was good today. Twins, Buxton. Oh, this is Buxton for Buxton today. So the Twins won today. Now to the game. I broke the game down. I've broken it down like this before, but and I didn't even got to watching Sly. I should have broke down some of the minutes, the total number of manipulated shots, because it really, not even breaking it down, it wasn't crazy. Like the first quarter, let me get this right. I think this is, yeah, it's got to be in there, right in here. All right, so the first shot that I have came at the 6-minute mark. It was Thompson at the elbow. That was manipulated. The next shot that was manipulated was this was all in the first quarter. Wiggins at minute 5:22. That shot was manipulated. White was the name I was looking for. Okay, and then Smart hit a 3-corner shot. I think that's for Smart at 3:39, and then we had White hitting the shot at the 1:01. So we have four manipulated shots right there that I counted. This has to be second quarter. I think I misput something. Yeah, kind of did. So I know at the 11, maybe I skipped the second quarter far as writing it down. Let me see. Maybe. But must be 11:42 in the third quarter. Curry off the glass, left side, wasn't a 3. We have White hitting one at 5:40 in the corner for Boston. We have Smart's layup. I think that's the one I made a video about that rolled around. We have Curry. Curry was not given an and one at the 2-minute mark. Curry hit a 3 and was fouled, and they didn't call it. I'll tell you a play a lot of people wouldn't even give credit for, but even though Klay hit 18 points today, Klay did a box out in the third quarter that was crucial. And I know most people would mix it up because I think Valerie was pointing out, last game 3, they was getting killed on the boards, and even tonight, they was really getting killed, but that was a big play. When I saw Klay boxing out Hartford, I was like, okay. So in the fourth quarter, we got White at 11:19, hit a 3. Tatum hit a 3 at the 10:09 mark. Thompson hits a 3 at the 9:55 mark. Did you guys notice Tatum didn't wear the Kobe? I think somebody on Lobo's thing said next time they see Tatum with the Kobe armband, that probably mean they'll have a good game. But Tatum wore the armband that was his. It was just his number. Okay. 8:06, there was no foul called on the Celtics. Mark, I think that was the layup that later got changed. And then Klay hit a 3 at the top at the 4:24 mark. He hit one. Tatum was in there. And then we know Curry hit the dagger was the shot at 1:42. At 1:42, he hit that deciding 3. The floater was cool. That floater, that was straight up just like boom. You know, I'll say this that I like about his game. Like some players, and this is just again looking at the skill. This is the skill. He doesn't really need a lot of he doesn't need rhythm. It's some dudes that get caught up in they move because they need that real rhythm to really get out of the trouble. I mean, he was like pretty much triple teamed, and he made one of the triple teamers fall. The other dude backed up because he thought he was got the pass. He hit dude a couple times, and dude just like didn't know what to do. Then Hartford stepped up. As soon as Hartford stepped up, he just went by him and hit a floater. That was a cool ass play. That was well. I mean, just in the entertainment aspect, that was fun to watch. Very globetrotter like, but fun to watch. Let me see. White Sox. White Sox. No. Oh, Yankees beat the Cubs. Yankees beat the Cubs. Took the Yankees again. Yankees beat the Cubs on a walk-off. Yeah, I took the Yankees tonight. Hey, Barbara. I think I said what's up. If you look at the pattern, Golden State Nuggets 5, Memphis 6, Cavs and 5, possibly Celtics and 6. Do the math. 5 plus 6 equals 11 plus another 5 plus equals 11 plus 11, 2-2. I'd like to see Wiggins win. That's my big thing. Steph got mad. I mean, that play alone, he put that you. But remember what I was saying last time. When you see Golden State lose, you don't see all them multiple. Like they called Lane. What is his name? Lancey. They called that foul on him early in the game after they had just scored. They called they called a bad pick, but his pick was the same because later Green set the same pick on Brown again and nailed him. They ain't call it, but it wasn't when the other dude had set the same play. It was and I'll say this: did y'all see how they modified his shoes? And I want to bring up 2 points. Steph and Under Armour. And I'll say this, I haven't bought any Champion shoes. I haven't tried any of the slides or the shoes, but you notice nobody wear them. They ain't nobody endorsing them yet. But Under Armour, I bought a pair from Marshalls. Better than the Starberry shoes. They were better built than the Starberry shoes. All plasticky, but better built. Starberries were very thin of the material. Well, just wasn't a lot of holding there, and really fell apart. But the Under Armour shoe, I said, to modify that shoe for him tonight to make him just a little higher, probably put a little more kind of braces in there or something. But he had wore the Richie braces in the past. But great job for the shoes that work compared to Grant Hill, messed up, Starberry messed up, so many dudes. I think even the Ball, his first effort. And me and PJ was saying, a lot of problems is when you come off these shoes and you try to get these shoes, the master molds. The master molds are so expensive just in themselves that you see a lot of people using these same type of molds with the shoes. That's no mistake. So hats off to Steph for that too. But yeah, I was definitely entertained. Hey, Crazy Sarge in here. What's happening, Crazy Sarge? Did I miss Crazy Sarge? What's happening? I think okay, DT. Hey, what's happening, DT? How you doing? So, Draymond Green. Why did jump? Okay. Did Masonic handshake years ago, and Steph did the Mohambo Master Mason handshake with Obama and Clay's MK Ultra with Steph and Draymond. I said before, I got before when the Knicks was playing when Willis Reed and Will Chamberlain was playing each other, they did this kind of Masonic handshake. Nobody did. I mean, it's like I caught it on film. It's like, wait a minute. They did this kind of handshake. And I want to say it was before Game 7, so they knew he was going to play because I'm pretty sure that's when they did the handshake, but I could be wrong. That could be another game of that series, but I caught that before. Yeah. So I wanted to put that out there. Let me see what else was. I remember point shaving too. Curry missed the free throw. 40 seconds. He missed the free throw. That's point shaving. Oh, and this is something that we've been seeing. I think we talked about it. I've mentioned this before. They've highlight like somebody in Lobo's comment said that Brown, if Celtics end up winning, Brown would be the MVP for the Celtics. But what we are seeing is we are seeing Brown highlighted in the first half. Almost every game, Brown has looked really good in the first half to not be as active in the second half. So I don't know. I don't know about him being MVP. That video I made shows that I love the poetry of basketball. I love the poetry of it. It is very much a poetic game in itself. That's why weed smoking and playing goes together so hand in hand. You get that you just get certain rhythms and able to just move around people as you control something. And you all get to control this thing, but it's the control you have is different and maybe a little better than the other people that you're dealing with. And that's what I love about it. Now, what they do to it is a different thing. It's a different thing. Tribes of Vivrio Matrix, how you doing? They are part of the Illuminati, Freemason. That's why they would be. They win. Yeah, I think they're gonna win. Hey, Dread, how you doing? I mean, that could be, but I mean, they just like in some circles, when there's a hit, they say call them an asset, but if in other circles, if you look at an asset, that's somebody that that it's the glue that makes something work. And so even though the asset may not be the chief, the asset is the thing that makes it work. And so if you look at Curry as the asset to the NBA that grows the NBA, and we've seen more and more national commercials. Some of those national commercials is going on their 2-year runs. And then we even saw a little bit of Clay. Oh my goodness. I clown people. That dude named White, I always wondered why he had that. Two things. Let me say White, and I hope I can let me write down the other thing. Let me see. White. Let me say the other thing first. Okay. I'll write that down so I remember that too. Did y'all see Jalen Rose when they interviewed Jalen Rose? Who saw that? Who saw Jalen Rose being interviewed on SportsCenter? SportsCenter, because of the college baseball playoffs, SportsCenter came on SportsCenter, maybe SportsCenter HD. Came on one of the other ones, and they interviewed Jalen Rose. Now, did y'all see how Tatum cuts his hair? And I'm telling any young dude, don't cut your hair the way Tatum cuts it. Don't like make your afro be back here, but you train your hair to be shorter and cut here. No, any manipulating in here is not good for young men. Don't manipulate your hair in here, because it'll make it go. But Jalen had Tatum's hairdo. Tatum last 3-4 years, like he lets a little bit more grow here. Some dudes let the bigger part go back, but Tatum has got it like that. Jalen Rose, like his hair was probably higher than my hat. And that's what made me laugh, because to put the little fake hair right here, they had to put a wig on that to get the little fake line right here. They had to put a little wig on this part, to get it. And then to put the full wig had to be a little higher, because they put the full wig on top of another wig. or maybe they to trim it had to be higher up here, but he was really high today. It was really high today, y'all. Oh, okay. I see what the problem is. I'm tripping. I ain't really tripping. Okay. I see Steph's getting finals MVP. I mean, that's been the thing they saying, the knock between him and Durant. Pushing the 6'6", Bitcoin commercial. Bitcoin has connections with Satanism. Oh, since you reminded me, shoot, Ethereum was 1,600 today. 1,600 for one Ethereum. And Bitcoin is like 29, 28. I think it finished 28 something. Ethereum, though. And I listened to one dude, and one dude who said it right. He was like, a lot of people may think sell, but some people think to buy. So I bought a little more Ethereum because I see that as a great opportunity. See that swing. Gold still was 840. Gas is at 120. And Brother Nick put up a thing. Yeah. So Brother Nick put up that gas was at 120 a year ago or so. And I know he was saying, but the price of gas was almost $1 cheaper. I'll tell you what, I remember, and something, but it made me think similar. We were paying at one time $3.20, but gas at one point was trading like 80, $90. And that didn't make sense that we were still paying $3.20. So I've watched it, you're looking at the world price. And of course, if it gets to 150, a lot of places going to be over $10 a gallon for sure. So, but I want to say about white. Now, white, how the dudes, you can't manipulate it. So White had always been a guy that would kind of trim a little bit, but now White's afro is way back here. And he was always a dude. You know how you have dudes that have like just too much head right here? It's like it's just too much head. He's just got like too much head right there. So I don't know. Okay, this way. Yes, I am tripping tonight. Going deep, it makes sense though. Okay, yeah. Agreed. Okay, there we go. All the crazy devilish stuff is going on in California. Mandates, crazy bills, $10 gas prices, censorship bills. Now this is something that I talked about before. That Brian Logan, ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, ABL, I think is called. He made a video, and I talked about this years ago. And this first, and this is going back about 15, 20 years. Hey, what's happening, Lorenzo? Whoops, there he is. What's happening? Hey, what's going on, brother Sean? How you doing, man? All right. I talked about this, but ABL made a story about this, and I talked about this before. So I know when I was living in Michigan had a problem. There were certain towns that, I don't know if it was insurance, but like I know one job I had, we couldn't drive. Now, this is it sounds stupid, but basically we couldn't drive outside the little village ship. Technically, we couldn't drive outside the little village ship. The insurance wouldn't cover it. But as I've said before, because the sheriff's department closed down again because of funds. They couldn't afford to patrol every night between 2 in the morning and 6. So they stopped doing it. For 6 months to a year, they stopped doing it. That was my own experience with that kind of thing. But I saw it in other towns. Story where one person is just like about 40, 50 miles away, but the town won't come get him. Now the story that ABL said is that towns have already went through their budget for gasoline. They got to put budgets out there. They got to buy gasoline. good guy, bad guy, they still got to buy gasoline. And when I was a cop, we did all that unnecessary just driving around. All that necessary just driving around. Uh, you want to drink this stuff? Let's add a little spoon or something. Sugar pushes all the bad stuff to the top. Still tastes okay. To you, brother, Big Pontiac, treat you, everyone in the chat. I'm gonna finger the rest. See you next time. Yeah, I came on late because Sly came on late, and I was watching Sly. I was tripping. Sly had me tripping, so I got to watch it Sly, and so right on. I like Sly, watching Sly show, so why cut away? And when I enjoy watching this show, I didn't see no point in cutting away. I can just come on afterwards. So kind of like Jay Leno and David Letterman and shit, or whichever one was on first. One of them still had the late show. So I'm kind of the late show. Beautiful day. I guess I'll personally talk. Beautiful day. A very, very beautiful day today. Not as sunny as yesterday. And I'll say the pickleball game was on point today. Had fun, swing the paddle, won most of my games today. And I see how the ratings of people are. And I see that if I play in the mornings, if I get my lazy self up and start playing in the mornings, the days I work, and build my endurance up, because that's what I lacked yesterday. And it was warmer. But today I played more today. Matter of fact, I played 6 games and then I worked out with a dude. I played 6 games and I worked out with a dude. So just getting that hitting, and shoot, one dude served it to me and I just returned it with the left hand hard, and he was like, he couldn't return it. It's like, so, because I play with both hands. A lot of times I won't go like to my left. I won't go to the backhand. I just switch hands, and so I'm hitting it damn near. And I practice so much that I can damn near forehand just as hard left-handed. So have fun today. There's a big tournament in the morning. It's supposed to rain though. That's why the last couple of days it's supposed to really rain. So I ain't watched the ride. So I was like, when's the rain gonna come? Because it ain't gonna do nothing but wash the shit off unless I park it in the garage. Which, when my son was messing around with stuff, I think I gotta push stuff back to still park in there. But so I played. I think I got over 3 miles in. So I played about 7, 8 games. Yeah, took my music. Was playing all kind of stuff. One of the oldie channels was just all like oldie disco kind of soul R&B. They played Parliament of Funkadelic. I was like, oh, get down. So it was cool. A lot of play a little bit of everything. That little speaker I got blast. So it was fun. I got to make a connection. I said that if the Warriors win this year, they would be the first to win titles in 3 different cities. Really, they did that. Really, they did that back in 15. Okay. They had already done it. Yeah. Okay. Well, you still get penalized. So you still got to send $20 into the bad information account. See, we a couple people, was banking on you, So you've got to put in the swear jar. You got to donate to the swear jar. No, that's okay. No, thank you. I try to think of the same kind of thing. Be like, man, if I said something, I need to go back and rehash it. Let me tell you neat stuff. I just got the neatest stuff, and I try to explain things and really how things are used, because you visually see something and what this thing really is. Now, as I wanted to say before, so just the basic pyramid, of course, the Americas, we use the terrace. We don't believe on being under nothing. We're on top of it all. And obelisk is four-sided, the same kind of four-sided as a pyramid, basically. And that's why I say this is called a generator. See, this is 8-sided. So it's not obelisk. It's a generator. And it's ruby Fuchsite generator. And this is the one my son said he saw like move. He caught this thing moving. And it is that kind of it's been knocked over. I think I knocked it over and was over here. You know, it's just you don't mean to do this stuff. But and so this would almost make it unnecessary to, like, if you wanted even to set up a crystal grid. Now you could definitely add this to a grid, but this would need a whole lot though. I mean, maybe again, as I say, the quartz just amplifies. So whatever you're trying to push, quartz is just going to amplify what you're trying to push. You got this around you, it amplify. You know, good marriage, joyful home, it amplify all that. Now, how to use the energy? It's a couple different ways, because I know today dealing with it, it's going to be kind of interesting where I put this, but I really what I went after, just to show you what I was really going after. I was really going after every side. I really split myself, and I really wanted to take it from the energy from that aspect. Is like splitting myself and letting these 8 different ways, you know, form to see what I formed through all them. If that's understandable. And that's what I just really just kept pushing at and just feeling that and seeing where the way that played out. And that was cool, and that's one way you could experience, and that takes a lot, but that you could experience like that. But the other way too is, as I was saying, just like you have these amplifiers, you also have something that has a really good aim. You know, just the way this is shaped, you definitely, wand energy would be very comparable, except the way the energy of the wand would go, it can be somewhat limited sometimes. But the way this would push out for you, you wouldn't even. I guess the snag I was saying is directional push. Yeah, the aim of your directional push, where you want to manifest, or yeah, whatever you're trying to manifest, you really would not need a whole lot more than just this pushing out and projecting. And instead of you trying to piece yourself into using this, you just stay whole, but you let this push through, punch through to what you're trying to get or what you're trying to attain far spiritually. That's why it's really great. That went a couple different ways. You still got to put money in the jar. Lorenzo, put money in the jar. Now, come on. You know what you said? They wanted in 47, 75 in San Francisco, and 15 in Oakland. Oakland Oaks wanted in 67, I think. Oakland Oaks. I tapped out, but I got you on Monday. You sounded like Wimpy. I will pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. And he says, I would really greatly pay you Tuesday. Now this is called this is called a generator, but it's called ruby Fuchsite, which is ruby and Fuchsite kind of mix. I'll get Melody. You might have a little quicker definition on the possibilities. The Fuchsite or ruby Fuchsite. Ruby kyanite. Ruby crystals, ruby and kyanite. Hmm. She's calling it. It must have another name too, because I've looked under both ruby and fuchsite. Oh, here's 271. Okay, that's what it is. 271. Here we go. This is it. Okay. Here we go. All right. Fuchsite. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, ruby fuchsite. The color is apple green. This mineral can be used by those who are actively engaged in outdoor activities related to forests and metals. Provides one with a keener sense of appreciation. It says communication with plant life. Plant life can produce information concerning herbal remedies, while communication with ethereal connection with animal life can provide you with information concerning the freedom of spirit and understanding which is required to suspend and eliminate exploitation. And this also has the energy of the ruby too, but I want to say it is all under its own. Let's see. Let's see what Richard Simmons says. I think he has this all under one. See which one he put it under. Star Root. Here. See, he keeps it under one. 411. He keeps it under one. Ruby kyanite, ruby, and we have ruby fuchsite. See what Tasha says. He doesn't let Natasha do one. It's just him. Okay, he says that the energies of ruby fuchsite combine the courage and strength and passion for which ruby is known with the calming, nourishing, heart-based currents of fuchsite. Ruby fuchsite is both empowering and strengthening to the emotional body. It fosters a strong sense of overall health and well-being in both the emotional and physical self. It can be an aid to overcoming illness related to dysfunctional emotional patterns. It encourages one to face the future with an attitude of trust and confidence. It stimulates the root and heart chakras, bringing infusion of life force into the body. It energetically clears the bowels and stimulates proper regulation. Okay. I don't think, well, okay. It works also, helps to clear the emotional body of psychic debris that be left over past relationship that ended badly, attachments. So, pretty readily available, but used in this form. I wonder that little book. No. All right. Let me see. Let me catch up. But if you like that, Sean, I can get you some of that. I can get you some ruby fuchsite. Oh yeah, like Sean, do y'all get this pink granite too? I want to send you some pink granite because that's what everything is on down here is on top of that pink granite. So it's why I see why the spiritual effect down here is so high because this stuff is readily available. We're literally on top of it. But Dread, how you doing? I'll tell you, really, Robert Sibbins' Heaven and Earth ain't really a bad place to buy small crystals. It's bigger crystals is expensive, but like he has any kind of crystal you can think of fairly easy. It's called Heaven and Earth. Now you get to getting bigger crystals, you can look around. But his smaller crystals, Heaven and Earth is a pretty cool place to get small crystals. Affordable small crystals. So I'll say that. But I'll just say, the most leery place is like China kind of like sometimes tries to pass glass off as obsidian and other things. So it's you got to really be careful and know what you're getting. But eBay is not really bad too. But it's certain things like, again, don't buy Motivite from China because you're not gonna get real Motivite. Shungite, maybe, because they are close to Russia in a way. Shungite, maybe, but definitely not Motivite. Definitely not Motivite. AJ Johnson told Adele Givens on Players Club, "I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a lap dance today." Yeah, he did. That was that wimpy, the bum. They was even trying to show you the bum back in the Popeyes, when Popeye was popping. Again, those was movie filler times. That's what them original cartoons, even Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie, was really originally before a movie. Silent movie. They played the music to the Steamboat. It was matter of fact, when Steamboat Willie came out, it was early talkies. But how did they do that? Early recording, the music played, and maybe Disney was the first to record the music and the little bit of talking that you see in the Steamboat Willie character. I'm keen on whatever you can send. Sounds awesome. There's a lot of ways to bring energy to crystals environment that have low vibrations. It's interesting. Maybe that is three. There's a lot of ways to bring energy with crystals into environment that have low vibrations. It's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And I say, I've said the same thing too. You can buy regular things that can do this as well. It's just the intention of the things have to be that. So everything comes from Earth. So yes, the crystals are going to vibrate through more paths than some more common objects. But all of us don't have a lot of paths that we do need the padding from. So if that's you, and you only need certain paths, common things can help. Just have those intentions. But and I don't even like I don't even know if this is the free will stuff or not. But you do have the right not to be bothered, especially spiritually, and you do have the right not to be fed on spiritually. You do have the right to be spiritually left alone. That's why religion has you leaning on so much that's outside of yourself spiritually. It wants you to lean on things that ain't you. And that's not the aim. The aim is to lean on you. Your, yourself, as Quantum of Science says. Yourself. Worry about yourself. Jimi Hendrix says in the line, "I'm the only one that's going to die when it's time for me to die. So let me live my life the way I want to." I'll wrap a little bit before I show that. Yeah, but yeah, and brother Nick said he's sending me that gray sweet hat he had on the other day. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go get these Fords hats. Send brother Nick a Ford hat. I found some nice Ford hats. There's very few fitted Ford hats. It was like a stretchy hat, but it's Fords. So I think I'm gonna pick up a couple of them. So and it was blue too, maybe blue or black. I don't know. I don't remember what color, but I was thinking about picking brother Nick up one, and I was gonna get one that had Ford on it, since I do drive a Ford. And I thought about all the cars I bought. I bought, dang, 8 Fords. 8 Fords. Yeah, I bought 8 different Fords. Yeah. I've had 8 different ones. Going back to the first Ford I bought, shoot. Yeah, I had the Lincoln before that though. Because I've had 2 Lincolns too. So I've had 8 Ford and 2 Lincolns. And Lincolns is Fords too. And I bought the Lincolns before I bought the Taurus. So shoot, I was trying to remember because that was a 90. I think my Mark 8 was a 95 or 96. Maybe 97, something like that. Yeah. More Fords than other cars. Well, I guess I can bring this in. Um, kind of think I finally broke this down. I've talked about this before. And this is a totem. And the way I think it breaks down is, again, this is the beaver. This is the beaver munching on the bat, of course. Then you have the human, and the human is in the bosom of course, the bird. But sitting on top of all is the amphibian consciousness. Now, as I told you, one of my creation experiences, not even a story, it's a creation experience. When I say giant frog-like things was everything, it was this. But bigger, not like really little things. They were just bigger things. I mean, maybe like 5 foot, but like this, basically, everything. Even me, everything was like this. So, but I think what this really means is, that consciousness is there because we do as men start off as amphibians in women. And yet I think you spiritually can soar to the heights of any bird. Do they have a new Buzz Lightyear? Yeah, the Buzz Lightyear movie's coming out. And what is his name? Lobo knows him too. Golly, did I write his name down? I think I did. But he showed a scene where they show a scene, and there's a melanated woman in the Buzz Lightyear movie, and the melanated woman is wearing number 42 on her Buzz Lightyear gear. What is his name? It's not here. I wrote his name down. So he broke that down. So I don't want to take credit for that work. He broke it down. But it's the brother that does the gematria. I'll tell you this. The California brother Dewan B, he pushes the gematria dude who's from New York. And I want to say I did hear about that guy before I heard about Zach. It's funny that guy's still around, and he pushes gematria, numerology. He pushes it a little differently, so it's interesting the way he pushes it. He pushes it a little differently. He played Chris Evans. Okay, okay, Chris Evans. All right, played by Chris Evans. Okay, but that's what he showed. He showed that. So, but yeah, it's a new one. It's a new one. Yeah. So that's what he showed though, that officer had number 42. So we see how they do things. It's never far from everything. Like I said in the game tonight, Curry hit the shot with 142. That was really the game. The minute 142, he hit the shot. So despite, as much as this stuff is loved, this is still a tag, and it's like the more it's exposed, the more it's seen. It's like we don't care. We're gonna keep putting it out there. Like Lorenzo, I'll tell you what I was wrong about. Now, what is the studio called? Is the studio called 42 or something like that? This is the European studio. So I think I was wrong about that one. Because they did do a movie and they had some melanated characters, but I think the studio is 42 or something like that. But it's not them. Made a mistake like that too. So yeah, that's coming out. I mean, a lot of interesting content is coming out. I mean, I still want to go see Maverick. I might go do that tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go in the city tomorrow and play some pickleball. Go kind of later from doing this. Oh man, I'm an hour in. Oh, thank you guys. Wow, I'm an hour in, almost an hour, getting close. Right on. So it's got to be late. It's got to be 2. When I went to bed last night, it was like the birds was chirping and shit. Oh, that shit was crazy. I was like, oh my goodness. But I love these, the long days. I love these long days, leading up to the solstice. And I really think I might take a trip out to the mounds on the solstice. That might be a great time to go out there and get that energy. And then I would take stuff like this generator and take stuff out there and take one of these bundles out there and really tap into that kind of thing. I'd have to leave super early to go about 45 minutes away. So might see. But we'll do something. We'll do something to celebrate to bring in that energy in. And the bummer is the days start getting shorter. The days start getting shorter. So that's the bummer of it. But still, this is a great time. The summer everywhere. When the solstice comes in, that is official. So in most places, it's mild here, but still agreeable. Shorts. I played in shorts, so agreeable. I always like days longer. Always like days longer than shorter. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. However, I'll tell you what, where people are going to pay if what they really did do, and that is if they changed the daylight saving to permanent. We're gonna have days in the fall where it don't get daytime until 9 something. If that's what they do, I've lived this before, where they kept it daylight savings all day, all year round. Didn't get rid of it in the fall, and we are gonna see mornings where it don't get light until about 8, 9 o'clock. Because I remember going through that. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think that's what was passed. National law to keep it daylight savings all the time. But that's what we're going to see in the fall. So we'll see if that's something that they did pass. Sun going down at about 8:30 p.m. Right now, shoot, I get off work at 9 and it still be daylight. Yeah, I'm gonna get off work a little early on Monday. I'm gonna go in a little earlier, but yeah, I got to point shave myself. So I'm gonna make the whole game Monday. I'm gonna get off early. think 8 o'clock the game come on. The games actually come on about 8:15, 8:20, because I took a shower and everything. I left. I stopped and messed with my daughter, and they moved around. They was going to something, and just caught them right before they was leaving, and so messed around there, and then went home. And I still got home about 7:40, because I played pickleball from 4:30 to 7. After 7, shit, it was. If I got to their house about 7:30, 7:25, yeah. Something in my area changed. So yeah, it's just being daylight around here till 9. At 9, it's still been daylight. We'll probably see. I know some years here like 9:45, 10 almost is about the longest days I've seen since I lived up here. You know, we're north. I know there's spots where I lived before where you could clear, like especially being down here south, there are a lot of clear spots that are free of a lot of the light pollution that you see in the cities. There's a hill that I think I might use one night and just set up maybe, and have a little better vantage point, because a lot, if you live in the city, it's hard to get away when you try to look at things. It's hard to get away from all the light pollution. But there are places down here. I mean, like going north of here, where my friend lives, way up north, they probably even have a little better view. And plus, she is on the water up north too. They have a pretty good view of the skies without being a whole lot of light pollution. Yep. When my brother and I visit our dad in Atlanta for the summer, it seems like the days were longer than it was back in Mississippi. It was an hour ahead of us. Okay. So you guys are on Central Time in Mississippi? You guys on Central Time too? Because you said Atlanta, and Atlanta is on Eastern Time. Is Atlanta on Eastern Time? I think it is, because I think Florida is on Eastern Time too. I think the whole coast is on Eastern Time. So Atlanta is, I don't know. I know Michigan. I want to say Wisconsin and Illinois on Central Time though. Yeah, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, we on Central Time. I think where Crazy Sarge is, he's on Mountain Time. So I think that's even an hour back. Like California is 2 hours back. I think Crazy Sarge is an hour behind me. So, yeah. Now I can remember being a young child and, riding bikes in the woods, building tree houses, and just hanging out all day, going home when I got hungry. But literally being gone all day, and the parents really didn't have to worry about, we was gonna be snatched up or some shit like that, My brother would literally just go to the sand area where the swings were, and it's a fairly big area, but it was all fenced in. And he would take his bucket and his toys, and he would sit there for hours. He would sit there for hours, and I would be around playing basketball, riding bikes. I wouldn't know that he would be there, and he'd be okay. He was only maybe 4 or 5, but he'd be okay. As long as he stayed there, he was fine. If he had to go to the bathroom, he just walked. He just walked from really the playground straight down the sidewalk to the apartment, townhouse to the townhouse. It was just right. He was old enough. He knew how to do that. You could train a dog to do that. So, but anybody could do that. So that was kind of how we was. How it used to be in the 60s and 70s. And with him, it was more, with him he was born in 66. So, yeah, early 70s. He was 4 or 5. Yeah. And like I could say that it was really and even being young in the 60s, I can still just remember like knowing my great grandparents. I don't know, all these people like were had their own talents. I mean, everyone really did something. Like all these people like did something, and they necessarily didn't go to college to do these things. It was such you know, in my mother's family, you know, family full of farmers, but yet none of us really farm anymore. There's a little farmland still owned, and they rent it out and let people farm it, but nothing like it once was. Mm. ATL is on Eastern time. Most of Florida is on Eastern time except the Panhandle. The Panhandle is on Central, but they're trying to make it a whole Eastern time. Okay, that makes sense. And when I moved here, I mean, when I moved here in 06, it took a while for my body to get used to it. It really did. But now it's kind of cool. You know, the Monday Night Football come on earlier. The games come on earlier, so it's kind of cool. Like I get all the West Coast stuff. Where the East Coast, it'd be late as hell. Some of them later West Coast games, especially football, they show them far West Coast games. I watch all them. It only be like 10 o'clock when the game come on. So I watch all that stuff. You know, I enjoy that kind of thing. What does Brother Sean say? What do you think about every experience being a fun challenge, whether good or bad? And what do you think of no more masculinity and too much femininity and male spirituality? Well, that goes back to what they say, the Gnostics say. Um, even when it's good, it's bad. Oh, no, even when it's bad, it's good because it's life. That's kind of a Gnostic thing. And that's saying that it is worth the experience. And of course, people try to say, you know, the source being the experience through you as an individual. Okay, you can kind of think that. So, but that's what that is now. If the source was just one thing, it wouldn't work. See if I can do this without dropping some shit. Aha. And so, you know, we really get this kind of energy coming off it. You know, the coupling. So they call them married, but it's the same energy. So it doesn't mean that one really has to take control over the other. So I don't know if it can be too much, but it shows you just generally the energy itself is a coupling of the two things. So I don't think you could get too much, you know, too much femininity in males. Now I don't really see that if you understand that is that the energy that you're taking there, that the source is giving you, comes from that, the coupling. It couldn't really exist if it wasn't, and that ain't really the duality. Like even Baum was saying, you know, duality is, you know, both sides of the brain. Not even that. You would get a little of both because it would be balanced energy. It would be balanced energy coming at you. Now, you could tap into one or the other, saying that you need one or the other. I think that's talked about a lot. You could probably do that. But I think just find the balance of the way the energy came in. Like I was saying the other night with me, the divine feminine, this apparently one of my guides came in to me, you know, as a 60s movie TV star, again trying to get my attention in a way it would think that I would catch. And so it had to turn into something else for me to say, ha, aha, this is what it's trying to tell me. Now, I'll say this, and I've said this before. Start touching my eyes. Cats probably bother me, but I've said this before. Generally in my prayers for a long time, I really didn't give any thanks to anything that was masculine. Far as getting thanks to the source, as far as getting thanks to the guardians and guides. It was mostly, what I had made up. And I really had to look at it like, wait a minute, I can't really just shoot up one part of it and ignore the other part because it's the same thing. So I had to adjust my own thinking. Yeah. It was like when I talk about, these kind of beings, and experience this, I really could even experience, like I've talked about this before. It's like really, if you just experience being a beating heart, if you could just experience just being a beating heart. So I say that because I think that's when consciousness really starts. I think there's consciousness before even the brain develops, because my experience being born through the cave, you latched on to the cave wall, and the first thing that really came out that really had any thought was I was the heart. And it was really, everything was built on top of the heart, with me being conscious that more was being added to me. But the consciousness to me in that regard came from when the heart developed, not necessarily when the mind developed. So consciousness is out there already. Like before, even if you look at creation, it had to exist even before that kind of thing. Anything solid, it had to exist before. And so this is what you're trying to tap into, something that existed before form. I mean, that's why dreams are really formless. The dreams, when you go into your dream screen or whatever you want to call it, it's formless in the depth that you can achieve in the dream. And you're just projecting. So if you can do it where you're just laying down and not doing anything, you can kind of do it with your eyes open too. Definitely agree. It's the balance of having both experience from a woman's womb created by man's sperm, any resting perspective. And I know I'm behind, but yeah, the consciousness thing, that is, and some people try to say I just mean being breathing and being able to talk and stuff, but it's the knowing. But even looking at conscious and how they really try to distort it and say that it was a conscious community, they've really kind of molded the two together. The truthers and the conscious communities kind of molded together, and then you got the corruption of the brothers from New York that use the conscious community to take advantage of people and cheat and run scams. So it darkens. And I've said, again, gosh, I forgot whatever I called it. The chick copied it, whatever. I can't think of what it is, but the knowing community or something like that. I can't think, but because it wasn't that important to me. Stop. I'll throw something at you. You guys could probably get me for throwing things at animals. Did he answer your question about what they do with the blood? Did I miss something? Dang, I missed some questions talking. Okay. Seattle, he isn't here to brag about his Yankees. Since he's not here, I'll brag about my defending champs winning 9 in a row. Come on now. You didn't hear me say that was part of my parlay? That was part of my parlay. Warriors, Twins, Yankees. Come on. I talked about that. I brought them up. That's what I was saying. I brought that up about them Yankees. But about the blood, I don't think I saw his question about the blood re-ask it. I don't think I saw the question about the blood. To answer your question about what they do with the blood. I don't think I saw that part. You'll have to reanimate me on that. But how you doing, Valerie? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Something you said I added earlier. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, you definitely motivated me to say it, whatever I said. That was a tongue twister to say. See, this water ain't been fully treated, so I'm looking at my glass and all this stuff is like, because the shungite will push it out. But my mouth is dry, so I'm gonna drink it. I guess I was just talking about what conscious awareness. I guess that's what I was saying, awareness community, because that's really that. See, that is okay. So awareness is what happens when the consciousness is not the same consciousness as everyone else. It's almost like as everyone else goes in and you see them breathing air, suddenly you know that you really ain't breathing what they breathing, because just the way you think and when you see them and the way they move, it's like you see that there's something that they don't know that you do know. Right? You watch them move and you see they don't know. And then people talk to you and you see what they're talking about, and you see that they're not aware. And you can be agreeable with people, but you like know how to deal with people. When you like, these people ain't aware. And some people like to brag about how they are aware and others aren't. That is not how you really should move. It's like you kind of just keep it to yourself. And you know how you just have to duck things sometimes, sidestep it. That's all. You just sidestep a lot of stuff. Sometimes when you think you have to hit things head on, it appears like you just have to sidestep it. Like, okay, I can just sidestep this. About what they do with the blood from morgue and funeral parlors. Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you what I do know. I did a forklift at a slaughterhouse, and the pig's blood went to the makeup companies. They use everything not pig's blood, cow's blood. With a cow, they use everything but the thigh bones. That's the only thing they don't use. They use everything else. They don't care if the cow's pregnant or not. They will cut open. They'll still kill that cow. If it's pregnant, they take out the embryo. And as I said before, there were synagogues. We sent, because what they do is they take the embryos out, blow them up, because really it's soft bones and everything. Nothing's formed, but it's a pretty big thing. They put air in it and it blows it up, and it's kind of hairy and everything. But then they're able to squash it all the way down, and they put it in a box so big. I mean, the boxes be only about that big, and some synagogue got them. But the blood, they had the trucks come in there and pump the blood. I mean, that's what else they pump it out of that place. Because it was times where I had to do something. It was like, hey, I ain't gonna just do nothing. I ain't gonna just keep drowning in this debt by doing nothing. I'm going to hustle my ass off. I'm a man of many talents. Cut me some slack, Pontiac. I didn't hear that. I came late. You already charging me. Oh, that's why I came about bragging. I bragged today. I looked at them after what happened to the Twins last night, hitting the home run, like, And I looked who the Yankees played. The Yankees played the Cubs, right? Yeah, the Yankees played the Cubs. I was like, oh, I'm taking this. And they had the odds on, I'm already getting 3-5 for every game. So actually, I won two bets. I won two bets on Golden State because I'm already getting 3-5 every game. So, and I extended it to 7. So really, yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to turn out good. But yeah, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. uh, 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 um, but I feel good. I feel joyful. I'm joyful that I'm connecting with people, meeting more people, getting out a little more. I guess part of being a cancer is, I be reclusive, try not to be reclusive and shit. And I saw some people that was kind of cool down here. I saw a dude, and this dude had to be, I would say 73, 74. I was behind him, and I really wasn't in no hurry. I was looking at the weather, looking at pickleball. Remember how I played yesterday, and I went too early and got burned out because it was so hot earlier. And went later, so I got my water, and I'm standing behind this cat, and I'm looking what this cat has bought. This cat bought Mountain Dew, what is it called? Phasia, the orange Phasia, the other Coca-Cola Fanta. What is it called? The orange Fantate. What is it called? The other Coke name, the European Coke name. What is it? Phasias they're called, the orange. He bought 2 Mountain Dews. He bought Jello. He bought some kind of fruit in Jello. I'm like, oh my goodness. Now he was hunched over. You could tell he was once taller, but he was kind of hunched over. So maybe he was even older. And like now where the plexiglass is, they got where you use your card, you tap it, you tap the card and shit, at least I hope y'all tapping. That's the easiest of the shit. But anyway. And so the dude looked at the lady, said, you know what? A funny thing's happened. She says, what's that? What's that? And it was busy. It was Friday, busy. People get off work, go shopping to go home. So it was kind of busy. And he's like, I forgot my money. So maybe you guys have to hold it. And just as he was kind of debating, and the manager opened up another lane for me to go through, somebody he knew was like, what's going on with you? Because he walked by the baggers, because this store got baggers still. And she's like, what's wrong, hon? And he's like, well, I left my money at home. She's like, well, oh, what? This chick did not hesitate. She walked right around. She said, add it up. Like a boss. She said, add it up. And she helped him out. I saw him because I parked way away because I knew I wanted to pull off. I had to go back the other way to get away out. And I was just like, yeah, that was cool. The timing was so perfect for it. Do have another story. Okay. Oh, Dread, what's happening, Dread? How you doing, man? Orange Fanta, that is it. Fanta is Coca-Cola's European name. Fanta. That's what they sold to the Nazis. They sold Nazis Fanta. Oh, I was way off. I went back too fast. Oh, okay. Back too far. Okay. Yeah, Fanta. He had the Fanta. That's what it is. I want to say this. I always talk about non-humans. Now, I think we can all understand the baseline. We cannot call these people aliens really anymore because these non-humans have lived here for so long. They've been born here. These beings pretty much like getting along. Now, Brother Bomber says some of them don't like us. So that becomes obvious. There's some out there that don't like humans and try to get humans to kill as much of each other as possible. We've seen this time and time. It seems to come mostly from Europe. But what you have to understand, some of them are just the nicest. I play pickleball with this guy that I am positive is a type of non-human, but his heart, he's just one of the nicest kind of guys. As I said, I played 4 or 5 games and I worked out with him. And then him and I played 2 or 3 games together before I left. And I left. I was like, the game coming on. I'm going to try to get home, a little bit so I ain't rushing. Can just be set up. But I'm sure he's a non-human, but he's one of the nicest guys and one of the nicest, sweetest hearts. If you just could read his heart energy, it comes off as really nice. And as I said, maybe 20 years ago, you would recognize it. They feel uncomfortable. Not anymore. They operate freely. They operate freely. So understand that. These non-humans, I mean, they got some in the NBA that you really think, what's his name, Bobar, whatever his name is. And I ain't talking about no giant. That is actually a military type of being. Guess that goes a little bit into Halo. I see you like elders like I like elders like yourself. Oh, okay, okay. Laid back, wise, and have a sense of humor. I said it because I see some elders at your age looking at miserable, grumpy. Oh my goodness, let me tell you that I tell you what that goes into it. I know it's a little delayed, but I was looking at a picture today of a guy. I didn't know how much younger he was. Younger than me. I always guessed about a year younger than me. Ah, okay, okay, okay. My man in 100 grand. But let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But this cat. And again, I knew him as a boy. Didn't really know him as a man. You know, we lived in two different cities. Never ran into him. Kind of forgot about him. I would run into his sister every now and then. But it was a point, even when I was living there, where I ain't even see her. And now, of course, I'm friends with his sister on on Facebook, and he looked physically, man, he looked like he could have been 70s. I got the vibe off some of the pictures she showed of him that either he went through the crack thing, more than likely probably the heroin thing, no. Because my hometown was like known. It never really like people still did crack, but it was still a big amount of people still doing heroin. It never like other cities you really watched crack, like some cities crack literally pushed all the heroin out. Like dudes wouldn't sell it anymore. It was too much money to be made off crack. So a lot of people quit selling heroin. And we saw the prices of heroin because the demand was so great. So the prices on heroin went up. Where crack, the prices pretty much stabilized. Powder crack was pretty much stabilized. So, but that's the vibe I got off him. And so, even though I like, the last 2 nights I ain't drank beer because there are times you have to shut off alcohol from your system. I do understand that. And Friday is the trigger. Friday is the trigger night. It's Friday, drink. But I'm drinking water tonight. I might drink tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. So we'll see. Oh, and but his friend that was my old classmate, they was both old neighbors of mine. She's got all that stuff in her face. I mean, you can just see it. I like the age. I don't get where that people don't want the aging. Gray. I don't care. It's whatever you like. My stuff used to be brown. Now what you see is kind of peppered, but my hair was brown. My children that got brown hair still got like brown. Some of them brown, blondish brown hair. So, yeah. At the age he's gonna head, pull the plug, kick the bucket, send me to the upper room. There you go. Like that, prone face and grumpy all the time. Yeah, I'll say he's still dressed like a G. That's one thing I like. Really where I'm from, dude. Still, we've never not wore hats. It's like we still wear Godfather hats, but just hats. I mean, that's kind of a thing that uh, I would say for my generation never went away. Now, the ugliest time for hats was the 70s. Them hats in the 70s, didn't no good hats come out. The only good hat that came out in the 70s is the trucker hats, the mesh trucker hats. And I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Them the only good hats that came out of the 70s. But the hats for men, especially, them black exploitation movies, them hats was the ugliest hats of all. You see how if you look at a Godfather hat, I think it's called a Hamburg is the name of the hat. You look at that Godfather hat. That hat, you can see people in the 1800s during cowboy times wearing Godfather hats. Them Hamburgers, I think, was what they call them. And you know, shit, motherfuckers used to just sell hats. I mean, that's how demanding hats used to be. And I ain't talking about lids. Lids, well, I'll say this. Lids is a continuation of, what do they call it? A haberdashery? Something like that. Haberdashery or some shit. Place to sell hats. You know, President Harry Truman sold hats. So, you know, that kind of hats turned into lids. But I found a deep hat place to sell hats. Bought a bunch of hats, a bunch of Godfather hats in the hood. You can find hats, still wear Godfather hats. But it was a place at the Mall of America. I bought like one of my nice straw hats. I have to wear it one day. And then one of my my derby. Yeah, my derby hat. I like derbies too. So I like my bowler hat, just a round bowler hat. The weather right now, if I was going out somewhere like right now, the weather now, you could wear a, you know, could even wear a little jacket. I tell you what, I've been really I found a place, and I know this is like strictly Jimi Hendrix fans, but Jimi Hendrix, when he first goes to Monterey, you know, Jimi Hendrix kills Monterey, but when he first goes to Monterey, if you can look at the pictures the day before Monterey, I think the afternoon that Janis Joplin played that afternoon. But when they first bring in the musicians, he's wearing like this British officer's coat. And you can buy these coats, and they ain't that expensive, but they all pretty much handmade and all that ribbon. You know, Michael Jackson ended up wearing some stuff like that too. But all that hand work in here, that ribboning work in here, I think I'm gonna buy one of them. And then it had a little fur around the collar. I guess it's a Haitian jacket, a Haitian soldier's jacket, which is German. You know, the Haitians fought with the British. They brought some of them Germans over here because, you know, the king was really kind of German too. I just like that kind of stuff. Let me I don't know if you guys saw this too. See what people think about this thing. I'll hold that. I'll just hold that. I'll hold that thought. Hey, what's happening, conspiracy? Yeah, I was looking at your emails your messages as they was coming through. Uh, uh, what's happening, my man? And you be fresh. I still want that brown fur coat. You said about 10 years. That coat. Oh yeah, my mink coat. I was thinking about buying another mink coat because you buy mink coats this time of year, you get a pretty good deal. I'm thinking about going to get that one cleaned for sure. Going to get that one cleaned. Because I bought another coat from that company, and it was like, that coat ain't nice as this one. It's like, what am I buying this? You know, I expect a company when from 10 years, the product should be better, not worse. Oh yeah, I like the M hats, and they don't really like you know, the white hat I had. That's the reason why I bought it too, because it was white and it had the M. They really have moved away from the M. They Twin Cities now pretty much, and I don't even think that this is a game hat. No, this isn't a game hat. Because I'll be trying to get the Twins game hats too. I'll be going to Liz like, show me the game hats. But thank you. But yeah, this is the Braxton. What is Braxton? I don't know. He hit another home run today. He hit 2 yesterday, and he hit a home run today. So Braxton is, but thank you, bro. Yeah, I like the M because, you know, my last name is Macon, so I like the M's too. On the curb, speaking the word. Yeah, I like that. And that's what it is too. That's what it is. It's just bouncing ideas off each other in a real kind of way, in a relatable way. That's how I look at it. Just like even the sports criticizing. That's why I made a video today, because I still do love basketball. I like to be entertained by it. We just don't want to be lied about it. I mean, Lobo says something interesting. Lobo said that when he was in high school and he studied WWE, he said you could get the whole forecast of the script. Now I know that probably affect betting, but even with that, they worked their way around even that. But you basically got the script. And so sports could do that. But now with betting in it, yeah, they'll never admit it now. They will never admit it now. But even that, I got to put it out in a relatable way. Oh, and I do got something to talk about. Somebody said last weekend, what did he put? He said, I wrote this stuff down. He said that I quoted God because I quoted something from the book that God supposedly said. He said, I quote God words, but yet I said I don't believe. And I sent a comment back like, what quote did I use? Because other than the transmissions that I get, I haven't got a lot from these books and people that wrote books. Oh. And speaking of books, I'm gonna transition. So I need whatever you think, whatever you think that I said some of God's words. Please hit me up and let me know. Thank you, PJ Allen. You know I do love the twins. I got a couple different outfits. I want to show this book. It says something about autograph. This book ain't autographed, but I got this book cheap. I got this book for like $4, but it's by Posner. Posner is one of the latest. Well, not even late. He wrote a book called Case Closed, and he got that face where he got that Botox. You see him on TV now. He all Botox face too. Oh, damn! I lied. Apparently, this one is autographed. Now, no, this book only cost me $4, but Posner signed this motherfucker. That's crazy. But I tell you, it's only $4 with his autograph on it. So that tell you how much it is. It's like it's worth $2, but they threw $1. They threw $1 on the autograph. Well, the book worth about $2, but we'll throw $1 on the autograph. But that's cool because his energy is in it. So that's kind of cool. So I ain't mad about that. I mean, damn, for $4. Okay, let me tell you the history that I learned. Now, I studied a lot about Isabella and Fernando. And one thing I learned is how the Catholic Church was really broken down. And one way that the Catholic Church, as the Catholic Church became, now I'm trying to think, in the 1600s, they moved to France. And so for a long time, France kind of dominated some of the things, even though the Catholic Church was still in Italy. But what you had during, the 1460s, 1420s going on up, what you had was what the Catholic Church became is when you became a priest or you joined the church, you gave up everything. You gave up the land, you gave up your money, you turned in everything to the church. And so by the time you see like the 1870s, when Isabella's times, this is what how the churches gained all these properties and all these lands in Europe, was through this practice. And at times they had standing fighting armies, not just the army in Rome City. So he also gives the history of that. And he gives the history of how they now have their own central bank. And no one monitors it or any of this. So there's another one I'm going to order called The President's Bankers, which is an interesting read. But this is Godfather 3 gets into a little bit what was called the president's banker that got killed, or the Pope's banker that got killed. So these all came off eBay. These off eBay, I believe. Yeah, I got all these, but I'll use Amazon too. We got several bookstores. Yeah, we got some good bookstores because there's a bookstore on campus, the university, because the University of Minnesota, it's downtown. There's really two cool stores, but there's a bookstore, a large bookstore near the campus, but across the street from it is the Magic Shop. They got books in there too, but they sell crystals, stuff for witches and stuff. Them expensive books too. Mm. Oh man, let me tell you what happened tonight at my job where I'm advocate for women having guns. What? This guy puts in he's on a female customer. She pulled the gun on him so fast. This guy puts in he's on a female customer. She pulled the gun on him. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I think everybody should have guns. I mean, in this day and time, like I was just telling the story. I don't even know if I finished the story about what ABL said. I think I read a comment. What he said is, and the full story was that these police were going to stop policing because they didn't have the gas. This is only June, and the budget for their gas has already been depleted. So they're only going to reply to emergency. Now it says it was in Mount Clemens, Michigan. Now that is where Central Michigan University is, but also there's a reservation there with hotel. Now I live near, matter of fact, where I play pickleball is on the reservation. They donated they donated the land to the pickleball people, because when you come out of the park, you know, you're right at the casino. You can just keep going straight and go in there and have you a drink and then play on a computer. Play Take My Money computer. Don't see any fun in that. But that's good. But sometimes that's what it takes. People forget that despite you being a nice person and laid back, that you could be serious. Because people don't understand when you need to be serious. I already know when I need to be serious. I'm not one to be trifled with. Man, okay. Well, I know it's late. Yeah, I've been averaging waking up at 12. And I had a little bit of shit I could have did. Oh, lazy. But yeah, I broke down the game. Yeah, good. I'll tell you, I'm starting to like this baseball parlay, baseball basketball parlay. And then Sunday it'll be pretty sure. Yeah, then it'd be hockey baseball parlays tomorrow. So because no hockey was on tonight. They let the NBA have it by themselves, other than the local sports, but not the playoffs. And then the hockey, the finals is next week. So yeah, Juneteenth, Father's Day, Juneteenth. That's why I think it's gonna go 6. I think it's that Michael Jordan, Seattle Supersonics. I think it's that. But we'll see. I think that's going to be fully entertained. Like the players, that's a 5-hour flight, so the players suffer. Can Boston go back and win another? And can Golden State come win a game 6 to take it back to California? And we're going to have Steph get interviewed, taking it back to California. Well, what do you think, Steph? Yeah, I put my foot in the ass. What you think? You saw it. Didn't I put my foot in the ass? He put his hands on her. Ooh. Yeah, shouldn't have did that. Put his hands on her and she put that thing on him. It's a hell of a thing, shit. And you see a person that does something and you negate what they do, and it's like when they see the seriousness of the event and they wasn't prepared, well, that's what they get. You put that heat on them, make it change your snares. Dude pull out a switchblade and you pull out a 357, not a fair fight. It's best to turn around and run. Some dummies want to fight, run into it. So But now I'm reading, like, I got 4 books to read, but I did just knock out 2 books. So yeah, so knock these out too. Get that information. Get that information. I hope my Rangers extend to 7. I tell you, they didn't look good the other night. They done played 2 games in a row where they done scored late. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The Lightning seem to be getting stronger, and your Rangers seem to be getting a little weaker. So that's what it looked like. I watched most of the game. Again, I was going back and forth, so I watched that game too. Or was that on a basketball off night? Because I think I watched that whole game. So I don't miss hockey. I look more forward to the hockey games than the hoops, but the hoops is down to the last one, so of course I watch it. But y'all know during the season, if it was the Wild, I wasn't watching the full hoop game. I was going back and forth. Watch my Wild till they got knocked out of the series. Go home, go fishing, get on one of the lakes, be on vacation. You can't be on vacation this year because they say the gas is too expensive. So you might not want to fly somewhere that takes you to use gas or energy or power. What did I say? Fuck whatever price they make it. We gonna pay that shit. That's the only opinion you can have. Okay, what is it? What's the price? Like, what do you do when it gets hot? You turn on your air conditioner. Like, fuck it. I don't care if it's gonna burn gas. God damn it, I'm not going to sweat. I'm gonna run this AC and be cool in my car while my stereo is blasting. Then you had a racial aspect of it. He was black and she was white. It could have gotten ugly. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it didn't. I said before, I saw a boy holding a toy gun about to face the police because I yelled at him at first because the police hadn't come, the cop hadn't come out the car, and the boy was because the boys was shooting BB guns at each other, but 2 of them had a car, and they were just all of them are kind of the same level if you understand, and they just fucking around with BB guns. And the young boy got out the car still holding that BB gun, and they look like little small guns. And I first yelled at him like, "Throw that goddamn gun down." He didn't respond, so I had to hit him with the telepathy, mind to mind. Had to hit him with that, and then he put it down and looked back at me. It's like, damn, that's the last thing you want to do: be hold the gun and a police officer, nervous young guy. It's the last thing you really want. You want them to be level-headed. And so instead of seeing that, all he saw was a goofy boy. All of them was goofy and did some goofy shit that boys will do. So yeah, glad it didn't. Glad it didn't. And that's why when they say the race war, they had a race war. Reconstruction was when they had the race war. That was the race war, Reconstruction. That was the worst period for melanated people, was Reconstruction. And it wasn't really better in the North. You had still the redlining. You could live where you couldn't live. That still was in the North. Like the story where they lynched the carnival workers up in Duluth was the same thing. It was melanated people that lived up in Duluth, had their own businesses and own, isolated, segregated area. Some worked for maids and stuff and did stuff with individuals, the Europeans, but for the most part, they're self-sufficient. But after the Civil War, as I said before, a lot of the Southern troops were rearmed, better armed than the melanated free people. Now, there weren't necessarily instances of not being able to buy weapons. Some, I imagine, if you tried to buy in too big a bulk, it might have raised some questions, but in some instances, these cities were kind of isolated. So, and that is the history that they don't want taught anymore. that they want to be ignored. How the South was able to turn into true slavery during Jim Crow. And if there was any wrongs, the wrongs were more Jim Crow than slavery, because really Jim Crow didn't into the 60s. Because what they want you to say is reparations came from people that lived 100 years ago. Well, right now, Jim Crow era didn't end until really, you could probably extend it to 1970. You probably could. And that should be the more aims of when we were really wronged. More so than slavery. And it was really conquered on violence. You had freemen in the melanated tribes trying to live freely. And their success, and especially the voting, because with economic success comes voting success. And this is what you see when the protections were under the federal authority in the up to 1875, I think 1880. But once the government was turned over and rearming the Southerners, this was a thing worse than slavery. The imprisonment was ridiculous. I mean, the imprisonment, we didn't really see that type of imprisonment again until under Clinton and the drug laws. But they made freedom against the law pretty much in the South. You had to be tied to labor. You couldn't live anywhere unless you were tied to some type of labor. In some states, they took away the right to own businesses. I mean, farms, of course. They still let people farm. But even in those instances, as I said, with my own great-grandfather, yes, they'll gin his cotton for free, but then they want to take his seeds. He's like, fuck it, I'll hand gin this shit myself. Because he saw it as a scam. And then the final purge of the South, because the factories needed workers, which they knew that by 1980 they would no longer need. 1980, they knew. They knew right after World War II, once things geared up, they knew by the 50s, definitely, that we can't keep paying these unions and we can't keep raising these communities that become very self-sufficient and create these industries. And that's what Motown was. And as I've talked about many, many times, Motown, and later, well, we see the funk out of Ohio. These are why also because Trump kind of said it. Trump said that if these countries leave and don't want to make things and deal with our unions, we're going to tax you to sell your shit back to us. Because Trump was right about that. That's what we saw a lot. We saw these companies getting out, getting these tax breaks, leaving the country, taking away American jobs to sell us the same shit. And Trump was spot on with that shit. You going to sell it back to us? We're going to make you pay a nice ticket for it. So, looking at the years of that era, and you spot on what you're saying. But I mean, if just a real study of really what happened during Reconstruction, you have to have a real study of it. And these people admit the butchery that they did to acquire, to murder, steal, lie, cheat, is how the Southerners were given the South. And the lack of federal cooperation to protect the people. Because the South should have been occupied until well into the 1970s. Should have been occupied by Union police too. Union brigades and police. And they say manpower. You could have created the manpower, and it wouldn't have been all just melanated people. And what ended up happening is the same type of slavery that the union sweatshops and all that, that's all they turned it back into. They took away the skilled position of the people, the skilled trades. They had unions down there, racist as well. So this shit ain't victimism. This is the true history of it. And that's how terrible it didn't have to be like that. At some point, whatever the beast, what it was they just did not want the melanated people at some point to just have it where, you know, leave us the fuck alone, let us make our own things. And now that we know that we've had these other lands before and we ain't going for this African lie, I think they see us as even more dangerous. Because at some point, these claims are going to have to be looked at. That they owe land, not money, not fiat money. They own land. And not the 40 acres and a mule. We was even before that. Cheated, pushed, murdered off of lands. And that should be the gold. I know. See, this is where you tell fraud and fake. What did a lot of them cats on the East Coast do? Foundational. Now they want to call it foundational. From another dude that sometimes scams too. And you know, if you looked at what Tecumseh asked for, Tecumseh said, okay, you motherfuckers want the East Coast, have it. Right here's the Ohio River. Don't come past that. Y'all stay over there. We'll trade a little bit with you. But don't come past this. Don't keep settling. You guys got all this. You got from these mountains in Ohio all the way going to the East Coast. Y'all got all that. Leave us the fuck alone. That's what should have been kept segregated. And then you study who on what and where. And even Pontiac said the same thing. It's like, we got to make a stand somewhere. Those was the time to make stands. And that's where you get, you know, the fat cat, you know, the native fat cat. That people think that, okay, you know, I'm getting candy. Ain't nobody else getting candy. I'm getting candy. And I don't care about the people that ain't getting candy. I'm getting the candies. And I don't care what happened to them. Not understanding that the whole is affected. And then a lot of them looked at themselves as, we'll just merge with them. Interbreed, merge with them. A lot of them looked at that too. And a lot of those get favored to this day. That was a plan. And they get favored for that. Because the claims were made much sooner than any of those natives made these claims. You know, history is not beautiful. Not all of it. And so quit telling us and quit trying to say that we can't teach this real history of what the European did. And it ain't victimism, it's what happened. What did H. Rap Brown say? Violence in America is just like apple pie. It's that common. This is how it was done since they first came. It ain't never stopped. The only true harmonic years I can say is 74 to about 79. So maybe 75 to 79. Probably a good time to be in America. And then even going up to OJ wasn't really that bad. The minds hadn't had a, you know, because that warped a lot of European minds. That OJ used their tactics to get off, which I don't think he did what they tried to say. I think it was all fake. But it put a shockwave through everybody. Just like 9/11, it put a shockwave out there. That's why I talk about, as brilliant as this guy is, as brilliant as he was, Jose Aguirre's, as brilliant he was, the shockwave that 9/11 sent out blew his mind. And then later he was like, well, maybe if it's real or not real. It's like towards the end of his life, the stuff was starting to come out, about how interesting the real event was. But yes, definitely things should have stayed segregated. And that's really one of the things that Elijah Muhammad with Malcolm X asked for too. Just give us our own area. I'll say that part of their agenda was right. I mean, that's if we get along better separate, that's all. But see, greed. They don't want to, let go of the melanated people and not get the melanated dollars. They don't want that. You've got the Asians that's got all the hair problems, hair, fingernails. So all of them have their hands in it, and they don't want to let go of that. And that was it from the very beginning. In the simple economics of keeping the dollar in your area, is practiced by the Jewish faith people. It was practiced by us at one time. Skilled things. Musical lessons, tailors, real tailors, bakers, farmers, teachers, plumbers, electricians. There were cities that had all this. Try to play by their rules, and then they're always changing the rules. Want to take things that ain't theirs. You play by the rules, not us. And that's what we got a history of. And that was even the argument in the South, The Jim Crow South was everybody else play by the rules, but we don't have to play by the rules. We got a different set of American rules. And why the northern states just put their head in the sand. Fuck it, it's those people's problems. Deal with them any kind of way you want to. This takes more of their land rights away. Because, they took all the political power away. Totally erased political power. It was a guaranteed thing to vote. Took away the power to vote. Well, I'm going to read the divination tonight. I've been going on, okay, a couple hours, good enough. All right, the card is shock. There we go. Quack. Storm, fire, rain, final surrender, purification, transformation, reunion, activation of the light body, thunder beam, lightning path initiated by fire, ecstasy of freedom. And this kind of being also, if you see, it's like there are points in this type of being. If this is the card you were born on, or even using this today, it's going to help. I mean, all these kind of things, like you finally give up from fear. Your total purification. Where everything bounces off you. You're doing it the way you're supposed to do it at the time. And then when you need to transfer, transformation, you transfer, And a lot of your ideas might come up ideas like thunderbolts. They might be that good of ideas. And at the same time, you lighten up the path of many other avenues. Initiation by fire. Symbols are thundercloud, lightning, or the white owl. It's number 19, baby. Colors, royal purple. Ooh, royal purple. Trace. No, just double-breasted. Give me the royal purple in a DB. Herbs are garlic. Flowers are purple iris. Flower essence, rose of Judas tree. Scents are mistletoe or frankincense or myrrh. Stones are sugarite, purple fluorite, tanzanite, charoite. It's a water element, and the direction is from the west. So if you need a push from the west, that's where you go. And the way to know if the information is down, that you're getting this down type of information, is denial, fear of the unknown. You're just paranoid for no reason. Issues of addiction. We all, me drinking beer. I have to have some days where I don't drink it because I like it too much. Strong feelings of despair, separation from source, judging your physical transformation process. Judging yourself before you're even done transforming yourself. Feelings of futility and despair. All you got to do is step free from denying and judging your experience. And someone said that before, are you happy just because of the experience? Absolutely. Access your essence self to carry your thoughts through the intense feelings that occupy profound growth. Turn your transformation over to spirit, surrendering to all that perpetrates the illusion of separation. It says, clasp your hands as if in prayer, interlocking your fingers. Then with extension, with tension, raise clasped hands up in the air like making a purifying sound, or clap hands above your head. And while you're clapping hands above your head, you say, enter the wave of ecstasy, but beyond the finite dance of the swirling veils, fragments the greater self, gathering movement homeward, rise up unveiled, horizons await. I am purifying, transforming myself, igniting my light body, healing all separations. And I've said before, clapping is part of one of my daily little things I do every day. As I say, I dance to the song Tighten Up. And so in the song Tighten Up, there's hand claps. The old music put the hand claps in there. But hand claps is just like when I use these singing bowls. I mean, there are certain attachments that get annoyed by that, and they'll attach. They'll loosen up. So. Okay. I'll use this energy. We'll use card of source. I'm going to use this. This is the sorcerer or the healer, whatever you want to call them. Kind of dig the fractal for a second, because we're going to use this energy to break some of this shit tonight. Okay, I'll let it play out like this. All right, I guess we'll play it out. I didn't really mean to make a spread. So we're going to also use the hangman energy. And we're going to use the seer, use his energy as well. And so I did a routine I want to do, and I want to make this a habit of seeing what I can push out. Kind of why I brought the generator. I need the protection of the totem. So again, I'm not trying to interfere with anybody or be intrusive. That's the word. Okay. Trying not to be intrusive. But I do want to do something that's spiritually worthwhile to people. So. Again, dig that energy. Kind of get these fractals. Now push these out is what is going to, try to detach by using the Concordiant Vite, which is a master Zoolite scrubber. And then I do have a pop light. So, yeah. And with the generator, this will probably be more intense. Well, you can do is try it. So, I guess you have to like do it like this. This will probably be the easiest way we can do it. Just imagine you have books that you don't like. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put those books in a place. You just feel something that bothers you, just take the book and put it in a place. All right? That's all you have to do. You like something you don't like that gives you a funny feeling, just take it and put it all together. Everybody that's listening, just one book. Don't try to load me up with a library. I mean, I probably could handle it, but that's kind of rude. Don't be rude. But just take what you feel are a few little things, and then you can place them somewhere else away from you. So imagine what those things are, and put them over there. Now, one instance, I'm going to remove those things. And remember, once they're removed, you don't even need to think about them. Move on. Okay. So, all right. Removed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's interesting, but okay. Just short. Just something with good intentions. That's all. Just something short with good intentions. Bathe myself a little bit from that. Bathe this stuff because it all works. Huh. Interesting spread here, though. So I'm going to end with Mora. Yeah, because there's not another game till Monday, and I'll probably, maybe I'll switch days because there's a game on Monday night, and I don't normally do games. So yeah, maybe I'm going to do a show Monday night. So maybe I won't do the show Sunday night. Maybe that's where I'll switch up. So, hey, brother E, yeah, brother E, the Magbone. I need a private Native American Indigenous consultation for you. I'll email you about the issue. Okay, I'll answer it honestly as I can. But thank you for joining me. And yeah, I didn't give out that transformation energy, baby. We'll give that out too. The omen, not the Mayan. We give out the omen energy, baby. The omen, the cat. But I teach it all. I'm gonna mess with these cards. The spread has got me going. Because I didn't really even mean to make a spread, but I did. So I am going to check that out in a minute. I'm going to stand up. Mora. Mora is a saying. Comes directly from the Time Walking Papers. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland, but they knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and lifestyle. But once in full activation, the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And as I wish everyone joy, may they have all the rest they need, and may their rest be unbothered. May all the people that are working, may your work go well and safely. And remember, love just is. It has no equal, no opposite, no expectation. It's just love. It's by itself. And in closing, from the words of Lazarus Long, days are long, but years are short. Well, this has been your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I'll be back coming at you again tomorrow, probably reporting on hockey. I think it's hockey tomorrow. And so, thank you for all joining. Thank you for the cash apps. I'm blown away. I didn't expect anything from anybody, but thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, till we meet again, say less.